As Rochester Police Officer Denny Wright recovers from a knife attack suffered while responding to a call on Peck Street in the city last week, the Rochester Police Department Locust Club has set up a GoFundMe account to support his family in this very difficult time. I'm here now with Rochester Chamber CEO Bob Duffy, who knew Officer Wright from your days as Rochester Police Chief. What can you tell us about Denny?
Officer Denny Wright is a 23-year veteran of the Rochester Police Department. What I know of Officer Wright, going back to my time with the RPD, he is a great guy, a great public servant, a personable, I would just say a quality man, the kind of person you want to see serving this community as a police officer. I just saw a video this week showing him dancing in a class that looks like kindergarten or first graders in a city school where his wife is a teacher. Gives you a sense of what kind of person he is. And he was horribly attacked at this incident on Peck Street. Not just attacked and punched, stabbed several times. He has horrific, really life-altering injuries. He's still in the hospital. He did not deserve this in any way, shape, or form, and it reinforces the dangers that these men and women face every single day in our streets. So the Locust Club has come out to create a GoFundMe campaign, and while healthcare that the city offers the police officers is a great thing, there's a lot of other issues that are going to impact Officer Wright's life going forward.
You have a call to action for Rochester Chamber members and the community related to this GoFundMe account.
We, as a chamber, we are donating $500 to this account, and I would urge anybody who has an interest to either contact us, but the Locust Club over on Lexington Avenue, which is the union that represents the police officers, they're sponsoring that fund. It's been publicized in media stations already. But certainly, Officer Wright deserves our support, and I just cannot imagine what he is going through, what his family is going through, and his colleagues. Everything I've heard so far, these injuries are horrible. He may not be able to even regain his eyesight in one or both eyes in the future, and he was responding to a domestic violence call, one of the scourges that we see in our community and really across our country often. There to support a victim of domestic violence where he is attacked by a person that, quite frankly, should have been in jail, has been involved in violent incidents before that. Whatever happened, I don't know, but he was on the streets and attacked Officer Wright in such a horrific fashion. And anyone that would attack a uniformed police officer in that way, it is my opinion that any citizen would not stand a chance. If they would do that to a uniformed cop coming to a call, you get a sense of what happened. So we fully support Officer Wright. We fully support men and women in law enforcement. We need them. We need their service. And today, the culture sometimes in the media and publicly...
Right, I do want to ask you about that.
Yep.
Support of law enforcement officers, maybe over the last decade or so, has become viewed as a political statement. So why do you think law enforcement support has become so politicized? And you have a career in politics and law enforcement, so you have a perspective on this.
I understand it. Police officers, like elected officials, like anybody else, are they perfect? No, but they are great people who dedicate themselves and their lives every day on the streets of our community and really communities across this state and country. They deserve our respect. They work hard. They do great things for us. And there really is this move now to diminish law enforcement. They're constantly criticized. There's no perfect profession, and those that criticize, I'm sure, would also fall in that category as not being perfect. I'm all for changes, reforms when needed. But let me just tell you, what I see right now, the disrespect for law enforcement on our streets will do nothing but decrease the safety that people will feel, ordinary citizens. If cops are attacked, if cops are disrespected, if cops are viewed as the problem as opposed to a public servant that helps, we are going down a very, very slippery slope. And it goes back to my first career. I grew up in these streets. I grew up in the city. I respect what they have to go through every day. And we hear about the things that sometimes go wrong. I will tell you from the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of calls every year that these cops respond to in the city, let alone our county and our region, the types of incidents that are egregious or problematic for them are minuscule compared to great things they do. And the things you don't see every day are the little services they provide, especially people that are disenfranchised, people in poverty, the things they do to help them that unfortunately is not in the front page, does not get publicized. When something goes wrong, we hear about it. And I often find for those that are looking for more accountability, I'm all about accountability, I'm all about respect, and I'm all about trying to provide the best service we can. But like everything else, deal with the individual problems. Do not blanket entire profession. And I'll make one last point. I have spoken out against racial profiling throughout my career, especially as a chief and mayor. I think racial profiling is wrong. Profiling in criminal justice circles for crime is one thing, but I'm based on race. It is absolutely wrong. I would just warn you that what we see today is we're profiling police officers. An entire profession across our city, state, and country is being criticized. And to me, if you look at the issue of profiling, that is no different. These are individuals. As I said before, this is not a perfect profession. None of us are perfect. There are mistakes that are made. But by and large, if you look at what police officers go through, and I'll speak for the RPD, the background process and hiring process is probably one of the most intense, long-term efforts you could ever imagine. These men and women who make it through the academy and their training and make it to the streets are special. They've gone through a lot. They're not just off the street getting their first job. There is the process of backgrounding. Having gone through it, having overseen it at points in my career, it is intense. So from everything physically to mental health to psychological to backgrounds, what they go through to get there. So let's fix the problems, let's address that, but let's also support the men and women who every day go out, who have families, children, they leave behind to go out and sometimes face some of the worst circumstances ever. They're out there while we sleep, they're on these streets. And Officer Denny Wright, again, a gentleman, a great guy, a great public servant, did not deserve to have that happen. He deserves all of our support. So if you can't help with that, please do. Chamber's in right now for $500 to start, and we're going to help and offer support any way that we can.
And if you're interested in participating in the GoFundMe account to support Officer Denny Wright, you can go to locustclub.org.